Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Alma de la Melena Cox. In this week's project, I'm talking about one of my favorite subjects, making dreams come true. The thing about dreams is that they always feel either just a little or a lot out of reach. So today I'm going to share 3 key ingredients that will help make these dreams a reality for you. The first is knowing wholeheartedly that the dream belongs to you. What do I mean by that? The inspiration for the dream found you from somewhere deep inside you. That's pretty magical. A dream especially made for you. Now it's your job to say yes to it, to own it, to feel like it belongs to you already. This project, perfect for beginners, can help with that. Art is a powerful tool for manifesting what we want. So is writing. Images help us imagine our desires, and we'll bring all of these together on the iPad with the app Procreate. You can use another drawing app of your choice, just bring photos into it or draw your imagery. The second key ingredient is bliss, feeling your bliss, like you did coloring or playing as a child. This is the state to be in as you create today. I'm gonna make it easy for you, but your job is to relax and enjoy the process as you gather photos and make your vision board on your iPad. You'll draw yourself from a photo, we will trace, and you'll surround yourself with those dreams that are pulling at your heart. The app Procreate for the iPad makes this easy. The third key ingredient is detaching from the outcome. Be playful with your desires. Imagine them for a little while every day with full knowing and confidence that they will find you. Thank them for the fun that they're giving you to imagine them, and then just let them go. Live your life with appreciation. You may be inspired to take actions, and if so, take action, but do it from a place of enjoyment. And if nothing happens, well, at least you had a lot of fun along the way. But if something happens, then you'll know you're a powerful creator, and you'll know that making dreams come true is as easy as making art, which I believe wholeheartedly. So without further ado, let's get started. Gather photos that evoke feeling and details that have meaning for you. For a year, I've pictured myself roller skating outside in Portugal, feeling the sun on my skin. I feel successful and fulfilled as a vlogger. I love the idea of a hygge lifestyle. I feel cozy and content. My life feels full of grace and simplicity. Check out sites like Pexels, Unsplash, and Pixabay for free photos that you can download. Let's start by hitting the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. My iPad is set to have a canvas that's 12 by 12 inches, but if you don't, then hit the small plus sign and just put in 12 inches by 12 inches for your width and height, and then you'll see how many layers you have to work with depending on what iPad you have. So tap the wrench in the upper left-hand corner and select Add. Then you're going to insert a photo and insert the photo of yourself. When the photo comes in, just move it to the side. We're going to be tracing over it, so it doesn't matter if we enlarge it at this point. With your finger, press on your skin color, and that will give you the color that you'd like for your skin, and you can adjust it. I'm going to lighten mine just because that is, I prefer a brighter color than what is in the photo. So once I have that, I'm going to select my brush, I'm going to go to inking, and I'm going to select my studio pen. Make sure you're on a new layer in the layers panel and make just a simple outline of your face. At this point, don't include your ear. You'll see that I've decided to add an ear after when I'm adding the facial features, just to keep it really simple, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. You drag the color in and turn off that layer for now in the layers panel so that you can move on to add the other different elements. On a new layer, I'm tracing over my glasses, and next I'll add some simple facial features. Next, select a tone of skin color that's a little bit darker than the face color that you selected, and you're simply going to suggest the facial features. And we're going to adjust these later, but just place little marks where your nose and your mouth and your ear are. And you can see that my ear is just under my eyeglasses, but about half the size. Now I'm going to select and place on a new layer my neck. And here I'm using the same color as I used for my face, and I'm just drawing in and dragging in the color. Now I'm doing the same thing for my arms. Now here, what I'm needing to do is fill in all of the space. So when you're dragging in colors, you must have closed shapes. So that is why you'll see me going over the fingers, and I'm going over the iPad, and I'm making sure that I don't have a broken line. So I just have two shapes that are the outline of my arms and my hands. I'm dropping the opacity, and you can either turn off the layer or drop the opacity just so that you can see what you're doing, and add a new layer. Now I'm using the darker skin tone, so the same skin color that I used for my facial features, I'm using to add in some lines that we will be able to see on top of the skin tone, which is lighter. So here I'm just adding lines so that we can see the differentiation between the fingers and just the different creases, so that our hands are more accurate, including the shape of the nails. On a new layer, I've added the nails, and you can see that I've made them a different color. I've also decided that I needed to add a little bit of a nail to my thumb. In my drawing, it's not as obvious, and so that it's a thumb, it looked like an odd shape. So that's what you see me doing right here, is I'm just sort of adjusting what that thumb looks like. And you may have to make adjustments too. So it's just the positioning of my thumb that didn't look right when I was actually illustrating it. I got a little confused when I was adding my shirt. I had the impression that I had to add it in two parts, but actually I just needed to do one t-shirt under the iPad and my arms. So when you're doing yours, sometimes like just having all these elements can sometimes be a little confusing with the layers. I made it more complicated than it needed to be, so I just needed to do one layer. Now I'm also adding color to the skirt and making it pink. When you need a straight line, hold the line for just a moment, and then it will snap into place straight. So here you can see that I'm just adding the iPad, and again, this is on a new layer. I like to do cleanup, not with the eraser tool, but actually the S tool above and the freehand tool down below. I'll do up close here so you can really see. So I drop the opacity of the layer that I need to clean up. I have the S tool selected and the freehand tool selected below. I'm going to make a selection going around that piece. I'm going to drag 3 fingers on the screen and hit cut. On a new layer, I'm going to add in a sketch of my eyes and eyebrows. And then once I'm happy, with the positioning, I'll redo them on brand new layers, and I'll begin with the eye, and I'm just making an almond-shaped white eye, and then I'm going to select Alpha Lock on that layer. And on the same layer, I can draw in that eye, and I automatically stay within the confines of that eye. I don't need to worry about going beyond the lines. I dropped the opacity of the facial features, and now I'm just making them thicker. So thicker lines, a little bit darker as well, so that we can really see them. On the neck layer, I'm just filling in the skin layer that's missing. I'll add an Alpha Lock to that layer and choose a darker shade for the shadow under my neck, and that is still on the neck layer with an Alpha Lock the same way I did with the eye. On a new layer and behind everything I've drawn, I'm just using my hair as inspiration to draw a much bigger, longer hair for my illustration. And I will be adding details to the hair, as you'll see in just a moment. And now I'm just fine-tuning the eyebrows with the same color as the hair. If you have a lot of layers like I do, you can select them by swiping right on each of them, and then what you do is you use your finger to drag them into a single layer, and then that creates a new group. And now that single layer that I have, I can delete it because it's empty, but I have all of my layers together, and I can use the little toggle on the right hand side to close that new group. This keeps my illustration of the figure organized, and now I can add in photos that I'm going to use for the background. We have to bring them in one at a time, the same way that I brought in the photo of myself earlier. Once all the photos are in, I will move them so that they are beneath my illustration of the figure. To trim a photo, select the S tool above and the rectangle tool below, and then just draw a square outlining the square, and then use 3 fingers and select cut and paste. And then you can delete the layer, the excess layer that you don't need, the excess part of the photo. Once your photos are in, make sure that they are beneath the layer of your figure. I'm going to be using this photo for inspiration for my color palette, and so you saw me select a green, and that's what I'll be using for the background until I change my mind and go with pink. Now I'm going to make an ellipse using the S tool and the ellipse tool below, and it's just going to create an oval that I can fill in with a color, and this is going to be my signage. I will duplicate that layer, and then I can use my move tool to make an oval within the oval that's a little bit smaller. Using the freeform tool though, now I can be a little more precise with its sizing. Click on the wrench, add text, and down below you can select the letter A. In order to change your font, I'm going to select a cursive, and then I will select its style. Then hit the keyboard, and you can use the keypad to enter the letters that you want. And because making dreams come true feels a lot like magic to me, that's the word that I'll be using. And then you can resize it with the move tool. Next, I'll select the S tool and the rectangle tool, and I'm going to make a rectangular background for each of the photos. And I will make adjustments on color and the size once I have all of those drawn in. As I was making the different colored rectangles behind the photos, I decided to select this pink and decided I really wanted my background to be pink. So this is the benefit of having everything on its own layer. You can make color changes really easily. So now I'm just going in and changing all of my background rectangles to a lighter pink, and I'm going to have my background a little bit lighter shade as well. And now I'm changing the signage colors, and usually when you make one change, it kind of alters everything. So you can see here that I've also changed the color of the word magic. I changed my shirt to pink, and as happens sometimes with tracing, it doesn't transfer completely well to illustration. So you can see here that I'm having to make adjustments with the neckline, and then also just little details where some of the color has bled out, and I'm making those corrections. And here I'm just fine-tuning those little corners and the edges and making sure everything looks good. Now this is my favorite part of drawing and illustrating on the iPad. I love the details. And so now I'm just using words and feelings like we talked about at the beginning of the video to give life to this artwork and to make it really my own, and to bring it into that realm of the feelings and the high emotions that bring about magic. You can see here that I changed the color of her eyeglasses, and that dictated why I chose the hot pink. I used the pink from her blouse to find that hot pink color, so it's in the same spectrum of the pink color. I like to repeat the colors that I use in the different elements because I feel like it makes the artwork cohesive overall. So here you can see I'm just using the pale green again, changed the iPad, changed the Apple Pencil to white, and now again just having fun. When you're creating letters and you run into a space issue, remember you don't have to erase and start over. You can use your Move tool and the Uniform tool below to make those kinds of adjustments. Also, if you need to curve a word, you can also do that with the Warp tool. So you would choose the Move tool and then the Warp tool below. Now here I'm just making some size adjustments with the photos and just making sure that it feels pleasing to me. And again, use as many personalizations as you want. Make the artwork your own. The most important thing is that you feel connected to your joy and getting into those feelings that we've talked about before, and trying to stay in that place of no judgment, and really being mindful if thoughts arise that are negative, just give them the validation they need. Say that you hear them and you understand why they're worried, but you got this, and right now this is just for fun, this is just for pleasure, and it's personal, so it doesn't mean that we have to share it with anybody. These are the ways that I talk to my brain when it's putting doubts and that feeling of anxiety as I'm creating. Is it good enough? Is it something that other people will like? And those are just the kinds of things that instantly kill the joy. So be aware, and please don't be too hard on your thoughts. They only are doing what they know how to do, which is be afraid and to be relentless in their chatter, but we are able to talk them down, and in a kind way. And being kind to ourselves, I think, is really important, especially when we're beginning with art or beginning something new that we've never tried. As I add in my final words and details to this artwork, I do hope that all of your dreams and your wishes come true, and I hope that you will share them with me down below. I would love to hear what it is that you're dreaming up, and also what you plan to do to make things happen. What step can you take? For example, I really want to roller skate outside in Portugal, and I see it really clearly in my mind, and so I have been going to the local roller rink to practice and gaining confidence on skates, and it's been a really long time since I've done it, but these are the kinds of steps that I'm talking about, right? They're action steps. So I'll let the music play for the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, thank you so much for a thumbs up, and if you've subscribed, I am super grateful that you're here. Thank you, everyone. Happy creating and have a great week.